We're very, very pleased that the grand jury came back with that result. He was indicted on all charges.
Today on the Morning Edition, a murder case that shocked the Mat-Su. This morning, the family of a Wasilla teen speaks out after a grand jury indicts the man accused of giving her fentanyl. Their words, their grief, and why they say this is just the beginning.
Plus, breaking overnight, Anchorage police are on the scene of an officer-involved shooting on the 300 block of Bragaw Street. There's still a large police presence, and they're asking people to avoid the area. Later.
I'm ready to be done with high school, but I'm not ready to say bye to the people here.
Graduates across Alaska reflect on what they've learned, what they'll miss, and also what they want the next generation to know as they walk across the stage to discover all the places they'll go as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on a Tuesday. Man, don't you remember walking across the stage for graduation?
Many years ago, yes.
Many moons ago.
I'll never forget, though.
Yeah, such a cool experience.
Some days I kind of wish I was still back in school. But here we are working this morning, waking up. We've got some sunshine in the forecast. There's some good news. Those clouds beginning to break across South Central. We are still holding on to some spotty to isolated showers to start off your Tuesday morning. But as those fizzle out, we will see those clouds breaking and the return to those sunnier conditions later this afternoon. We're currently sitting at 42 degrees. Yes, we're still holding on to some breezy conditions across South Central. But overall, what we are dealing with is a lot quieter conditions, a stark difference from what we did see yesterday morning. But you can see areas of Anchorage into the valley, out towards the Kenai, beginning to hold on to some of that isolated showers that we're still seeing this morning. Out towards Golcana and parts of the Copper River Basin, we're also seeing some light snow showers that are falling as you start off your Tuesday. We've seen some of that snow falling as far north as about Trim's Camp, and then areas of the Parks Highway, we've seen that falling out towards Cantwell. So we have seen some of that snow accumulation for areas to the north. But that rain, you can see how it really just fizzled out over the last several hours, and we're still holding on to some of that light precip this morning. But the trend for today will be a lot sunnier conditions and warmer weather. We'll catch a brief reprieve from this rain, and then we are watching additional rounds of some showers building in as we welcome in our Wednesday. It was a record rainfall yesterday as we officially hit half an inch of that accumulation. The previous record was 0.37 set back in 1962. And again, we are going to dry out today, so that is some good news to get outdoors and soak up that sunshine. Maybe you want to bike into work today. Those temperatures expected to make a run into the upper 40s and lower 50s throughout the afternoon hours. So it is going to be a gorgeous day. But there is some rain back in the forecast for South Central into your Wednesday. I'll have more on that in that 7-day coming up.
Breaking news this morning, Anchorage police are on the scene of an officer-involved shooting in the 300 block of Bragaw Street. This happened just before midnight, but as you can see, there is still a large police presence, and the crime scene team is actively processing the area. Investigators are asking the public to stay away. No further details have been released right now, but a press conference is expected this morning at 5:30. We will have a crew there and plan to take it live, so be sure to tune in for the latest update.
Also breaking overnight, a shooting involving law enforcement Monday evening on Washington Drive in Fairbanks. According to the police department's social media post, all officers are safe and there is no current threat to the public. It's unclear, though, if anyone else was hurt in the shooting. Investigators are expected to remain on scene for several hours as the case unfolds. Residents are asked to avoid the area and stay alert for updates as more details come in.
The rally today is to bring awareness to the case.
A rally held Monday outside the Palmer Courthouse to bring awareness to a case in which a man has been charged with murder, accused of providing fentanyl to a Wasilla teen, resulting in her death. Sean Mobley is scheduled to appear in a superior court this afternoon in Palmer, where he will be arraigned on multiple charges connected to the death of this girl, 16-year-old Elena Tonis.
Yeah, the Wasilla teen was found dead last November. Her body discovered under a power line in the snow. Investigators say she died from a fentanyl overdose, and Mobley is accused of providing her the drug before leaving her outside in freezing conditions. Hypothermia was also listed as a contributing factor. He faces charges of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and first-degree misconduct involving a controlled substance.
Advocates and family members held a rally Monday outside the Palmer Courthouse to raise awareness and push for stronger penalties for drug dealers involved in fatal overdoses.
We're really glad that there's been an arrest, and We want to, we don't want him to get out on anything. We really want him to be prosecuted to the fullest extent that we can. And we don't feel like we've got justice yet, but we're on our track to getting there.
If you can give somebody that young a fatal dose of drugs, knowing that it's a fatal dose of drugs, and then just to throw them out of your vehicle and roll them down an embankment, it's pretty hard to swallow.
It's hard to swallow.
There's more details on this story, including a heartbreaking interview with Elena's grandmother, which you can find all on our website. This morning, state officials are expected to release the name of the trooper who shot a woman during a welfare check in Wasilla. She remains in the hospital after police say she pointed what appeared to be a gun at officers Friday night. It was later identified as a BB gun with no orange tip. The trooper is on administrative leave while the Alaska Bureau of Investigation handles the case.
A 77-year-old Canadian citizen will spend 30 months in federal prison after admitting to a fraud scheme that spanned 3 decades. Ellis Kingsep was sentenced Monday in Fairbanks for stealing more than $420,000 in Social Security payments intended for his mother. Authorities say Kingsep pled guilty but have been unable to recover money from his offshore accounts, leaving restitution in doubt. Turning now to Capitol coverage, a trail project years in the making may be getting back on track. The proposed Fish Creek connector faces new legislation that could have put the plan in jeopardy. But after widespread public pushback, lawmakers have now changed the language in House Bill 136. Supporters say the update is a win, but as Joe Allgood reports, the future still depends on what happens next in Juneau.
Right now, the Fish Creek Trail ends up here on the other side of Northern Lights Boulevard across this pedestrian overpass, but some are hoping to connect it to the coastal trail along the railway corridor. This last week, however, there was some legislation that had advocates concerned. Over 100 people gave public testimony, both verbal and written, to the House Transportation Committee, most of them concerned about House Bill 136 and the impact it would have on the Fish Creek Connector project. In short, an early draft of the bill would allow nearby property owners right-of-way on railway easements, which in theory might give them the chance to block public use projects along railways. With over $1 million in federal funding already secured and much of the Fish Creek connector designed, supporters wanted to make sure it wasn't at risk.
I really think it speaks to how much people care about our trails and how much support there is for the Fish Creek Trail in particular. So I'm really, really proud that we were able to put up such a great show. I'm really grateful to everybody who stepped up and spoke up.
In a phone conversation, the bill's sponsor, Representative Chuck Kopp, said the bill was never aimed at preventing public use projects. Rather, Kopp wanted to protect landowners from exorbitant fees charged by railroad companies who said their gardens and property encroached on easements.
Some individuals have expressed concern that House Bill 136 might preclude the railroad's ability to authorize public trails. To directly address that, Madam Chair, the bill was amended from version G to version H with the help of the co-chairs to clarify that nothing in House Bill 136 prevents the railroad from approving public trail or infrastructure projects.
Kopp said he is happy with the bill's amendment and hopes it passes, giving landowners the protection he feels they deserve. Now that House Bill 136 is amended, those advocates are less concerned, but they still say it's something to watch in case it shows any obstacles to the connection of the Fish Creek Trail to the coastal trail. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
After the break, the man who helped launch Alaska's greatest race has died.
He was such a people person. He had a lot of friends and drew a lot of people around him.
Now, Dan Seavey's vision sparked a 3-generation mushing tradition, and the memories his family and friends say will never fade.
Wet conditions from yesterday coming to an end with some sunshine back in the forecast, but only for a brief period of time. I'll have more on that, but first at sunrise, 5:16 in Anchorage, 4:33 in Fairbanks. Your full forecast is next.
Good morning, everyone. Back here on your Tuesday. Some good news, maybe some sunshine.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Aaron, when can we expect that sunshine?
So we're just going to wait for about a couple of more hours before those clouds really begin to break across South Central. And this is coming off of what was a very wet Monday across the region. We officially picked up a ½ an inch of rain accumulation in the Anchorage Bowl, which was a brand new record. That brings our monthly May total to right around roughly 4/10 above where we should be for this time of year. Both April April and May, which tend to be our 2 driest months, actually seeing above average precipitation. And you can see for the year, we're sitting at 4.47 inches of liquid precip. That does include the snow we did see earlier this year that has melted. Notice across the state that the widespread activity we did see yesterday, it's really beginning to fizzle out. We're still holding on to that area of low pressure that's kind of really going to stall out in the east central parts of the Bering here over the next couple of days. But we're still seeing some light rain as you head out towards parts of the Kuskokwim Delta coast, Bristol Bay. You can see that isolated to scattered rain showers staying with us as it moves inland. It is tapping into some of those cooler conditions, so we are seeing a chance that we could hold on to some areas of rain and snow to be expected. Even through parts of the interior, we're holding on to a chance for some rain and snow. Really south of Fairbanks is where we're seeing that better potential for that lingering precip. We did see some snow accumulation through the Copper River Basin and areas of the Alaska Range. That will fizzle out through the day as well. And then hour-by-hour forecast for today showing, yes, we're still holding on to that slight chance that we could see some activity to start off the morning. But here over the next couple of hours, we'll see those clouds break. That sunshine will beam down, and we're going to see those temperatures warming back into the 50s later this afternoon. So a nice break from those wet conditions that we did see into our Monday. And you can see there it is, the rain and snow coming to an end. We'll see those clouds beginning to break away. Still seeing the potential that we could hold on to some spotty showers at times throughout the day. It's going to be hit or miss, but largely expecting that dry weather to stay with us. And we will see that return to some sunshine. Notice overnight into tomorrow, our next storm system will be building in from the south. So overnight, Kodiak, you'll tap into that rainfall, and then that will build into coastal regions through the day Wednesday. Inland areas of South Central, we may see a stray shower, largely staying on the dry side with this next system, but we will see increasing clouds thickening up once again as we welcome in our Wednesday. So for this morning into the afternoon hours, just some lingering activity across South Central, out towards Glen Allen, still holding on to some of that snow, which will transition into some wintry mix. And then into our Wednesday, notice coastal regions. This is where we could see the potential for up to an inch of accumulation once again, more so out towards Whittier and Portage, where we're going to see some of that heavier activity. For today, though, that sunshine will return. We'll see temperatures breaking into the 50s. Expecting to see a nice afternoon, 50 degrees in Valdez. There's Golcana with that rain-snow mix expected throughout the day, a mix of sun and clouds in the valley. Those temperatures will warm into the mid to upper 50s. So expect a nice afternoon coming off of those wet conditions we saw yesterday. 52 degrees here in Anchorage, that 7-day forecast. You could see clouds do increase into our Wednesday. Again, largely on the dry side for inland areas, but we can't rule out some stray showers the next couple of days. Our next best chance for inland areas comes Saturday with a chance for some rain.
All right, thanks, Aaron. The man known for helping launch Alaska's most iconic race has passed away. Dan Seavey wasn't just a competitor, he was a trailblazer who helped build the Iditarod from the ground up. His legacy includes shaping a race that would become a worldwide symbol of grit, dogs, and determination. This morning, we hear from his family and friends, and as Georgina Fernandez reports, how his spirit lives on in the tracks he left behind.
There'll never be another first.
The man.
I mean, there could be 1,000 more, but there'll never be another first.
Behind the creation of a legacy.
We call him the silver-tongued fox.
Pioneer of sorts.
That's how many are remembering Dan Seavey, who was known for his pivotal role in crafting the first Iditarod race.
His passion and dream of running dogs helped lead to the formation of the Iditarod along with Joe Reddington and others.
Mitch is in the chute.
A passion his son, Mitch Seavey, a 3-time Iditarod champion, recalls stemming from his father's childhood.
His original passion for mushing dogs started when he was a young kid, listening to radio programs about Sergeant Preston, dramatizations on the radio about Sergeant Preston and his lead dog King or something like that. And my dad had this imagination and always wanted to run dogs.
That passion,
You're my guy.
now into an over 5-decade-long tradition that Dan kept close to his heart until the end.
He was until his last day, I'd say, devoted to dogs and the trail.
What do you think his long-lasting impact on the race is going to be?
I think he really encouraged people and communities along the trail to be good stewards. and to embrace the trail, its history.
The history that started all for Dan.
He was the history teacher, had the maps and the old books, and he had input as far as logistics and where to route the race.
That helped create the race that hundreds have since run, creating a passion that now burns for many other mushers, including his 6-time Iditarod-winning grandson, Dallas Seavey.
His passion lives on, and
that legacy
lives on through his family.
Now thriving into his 3rd generation of Seaveys. Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
Alongside Dan, Rain Hall, the first paid Iditarod executive director, also died on the same night.
To hear an extended version of our conversation with Mitch Seavey, check out our in-depth Alaska podcast.
You've been listening to the Alaska's News Source podcast. Subscribe to have the latest episodes delivered to your library automatically.